Good morning, you guys. I'm so excited for this training. I'm so excited that you guys are here. Make sure you guys get your pen, paper, all the things ready because I'm going to be giving you guys so much value today. And you are going to walk away from this training knowing exactly how to go lock in premium retainer clients, which I know is what all of you guys were wanting to know and asking about. I got emails, I got DMs, and all the things. So we are going to go and dig in. So just a few different kind of like housekeeping things. So if you guys have any questions, because I know there's gonna be a lot of you guys watching the replay. I know a lot of you guys are at your 9 to 5, and that's exactly why you signed up for this training, because you want to replace your 9 to 5 income and you are wanting to go and lock in those premium clients. So as you guys know, Jen, I know you're a client. You know that I love interaction. I hate feeling like I'm talking to a wall. I love to feed off your guys' energy, and I love to give you guys my energy. So we've got coffee. This is so bad for my heart. I got some Red Bull. I ran out of pre-workout, and we're going to be diving into everything. So today, here's what you're going to be able to take away. Number one, we're going to be breaking down how to actually get paid for the skills that you already have. You're not going to be finding random clients. I know a lot of you are charging hourly, and I know it's very different. When I think of hourly, I always think of like hourly packages, but I know there's a lot of you that go and charge hour by the hour of just like, oh, I'm a doormat, throw some, tasks my way, whatever you need. And then you're clocking your time, and then you're going and turning in your time stub, and then that's what you get paid for per hour. So we are no longer doing hourly at all. So if you are done going and charging hourly, if you are done being underpaid, undervalued, whether you already have a VA business or you're at a 9 to 5, I want you to put in the chat either amen, hell yeah, let's do this, let's pump each other up, all right? Because you guys are some of the few that are, and not dissing anyone that's on a 9 to 5 and literally can't, I totally get it. But every single time I run free trainings, I have about 100 people sign up. Didn't have quite that many this time, but here's the thing. I'm trying to remember. It's been almost a year since I've done it, but we used to track all of that. I used to do one like multiple times a month, the free training, all of that. And I think it was under 15% of people that signed up were actually on the live. And even less than that would actually go and watch the replay. This is free. All right. I spent over $100,000 in my business and investments alone. And 50,000 of that last year is Alex Hermosi. If you don't know who that is, go Google him. You might be living under a rock or you're not on Instagram, but he's worth $500 million. And the reason I went and spent that money was because I felt a shift in the online space in October of 2024. So when I was working with them, they said, you need to go and create like something with AI. VAs need AI. So I created an AI certification. And then I've actually started work with Adley. If you guys don't know her, she's made millions and millions of dollars in the online space. I'm a part of her cohort. She's worked with some of the biggest people in the industry. And guess what she just said yesterday on the training she did? That you have to learn AI. But here's the thing. If you don't understand the framework, because AI is a tool, but you are the source. So ChatGPT ain't gonna do shit for you if you don't have the actual framework. If you go and tell Chat, tell me how to go find clients, guess what? You're not going to get premium clients, okay? That's why I've spent around the last 5-6 years of my business, $250,000 in coaches. That's why I went and spent what I did last year, because I care deeply about making sure that I'm staying up to date. There are VA coaches that are still teaching shit like applying for job ops and building a resume and a portfolio, and that doesn't work. So I'm going to be showing you something completely different. And I love it when I get on calls with women because they are literally mind blown. They're like, wait, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to cold pitch. So I'm going to be showing you exactly what it is that you're doing wrong and what you're missing. And before we go into all of that in the training, I want to tell you why I am qualified to be teaching this. Because I started out just like you. I struggled for 18 months. I did all that stuff I just talked about, the resumes, emailing local people. Local people are not ideal. And I had no idea what to charge. So I was going and charging less than what I was making at my 9 to 5, but I didn't have 40 hours of work a week. And I struggled. And I was just like you. I was paying for groceries and bills on a freaking credit card. I had a total mental breakdown to my mom. And I was like, Mom, I am failing my family. This was in September. That was a pivotal moment for me because that's when I decided that I had spent enough time doing that. And I needed money because I was about to be a single mom. I had 2 kids and I needed to figure it out. And so I decided to learn from an expert. And that's exactly why you're here. Because when you're going and doing that, that's going to save you time, but also money. Because think about this. Put in the comment, guys, how long have you been trying to reach your income goal with your virtual assistant business? How long? And then I want you to put next to it how much your goal is. So if it's 3K and you've been trying to hit 3K for a year, or maybe your goal is 5K, but you've been stuck at 1K and you've been doing it for 6 months, put that in the chat. That's going to give me a better idea of how to tailor this all to you. Yes, Bethany, Jennifer, I love it. Leah, I think you hopped on. Oops, sorry, guys. All right. I don't see anyone put anything in the chat. So I'm going to assume you guys have all hit your goals, which I'm not quite sure why you're here, but that's okay. Just kidding. So I retired my husband June of 2024. Since then, we have made just shy of $3 million in the online space. I have hit over 100,000 income months in my business. And so I'm going to be actually, I am your idol client, guys. So I'm going to be breaking down why that is so as well. So replacing your 9 to 5 income, I've done that. If you're looking to achieve that, I've helped clients even retire their husbands out of their 9 to 5s, out of active army, and land packages from 10K all the way up to $32,000. All right, 32K package. My client Sam last week got a 10K package. So let's dig in. All right. So, what have you guys been doing so far to try and get clients? Put it in the chat. I want you guys to be interactive. All right. What have you guys been doing already to try and get in clients? Leah, Jen, Abby, Kylie. Because I guarantee that you have been doing all those things I just talked about, right? So, Jen, I know that you have, when you started to work with me, you were doing local clients, right? Aiming for those, doing local networking events. I've also done that, local connections. Those are low-hanging fruits. So, is it okay for you to go and do that? Sure. If you want to get your first client and only charge 300 bucks, you do you, boo, but that's not going to build you a sustainable monthly income. It's not going to get you to those higher income months. So, here's what you do. I talked to a woman a couple weeks ago, and she actually brought on a small client, and she wasn't actually charging what she told me that she wanted to be charging. I asked her why. She said, "Well, I'm a new VA, and I just really wanted to get their feedback." Well, you're new to virtual assisting, but you're not new to the skill sets that you're doing. You just told me that you know you could be making 5K a month easily, but you're stuck at 3K at your 9 to 5. So why would you go and only charge a few $100s? Not only that, but if they can only afford $300 a month, they're not your ideal client. So why do you care about their feedback? So that's what thing I see a lot of VAs do is they're taking feedback from people that aren't even where they want to be. So if you want to make 5K, those people that are paying you 200 bucks, guess what? I highly doubt they're making 5K. And the only reason they're making 5K is because they haven't invested in themselves. They haven't invested in a business coach. So that right there, they don't have the ROI investor mindset from the get-go. So the issue isn't your pricing. It's who you are presenting it to and pitching it to. So when I'm talking to women and they're telling me, "Oh, well, I can't, like, why are you charging so little?" Well, because I keep hearing I'm charging too much. Well, who's telling you that? Oh, other VAs. What are they making? Well, they're making about like $1,000, $2,000. That's more than me. Or they're in Facebook groups and applying to job ops. And that's how you guys are gauging your worth, is what other people are telling you. what you're worth. But those are not ideal people. And we're going to be breaking that down in a different slide a little bit more. But when you're talking to the wrong buyer, everything feels harder. That right there is spending so much time and energy because now not only are you talking to the wrong person, but now you're wondering, what do I charge? Now that's messing with the imposter syndrome you already have, and you're losing your confidence. And you over explain, that was me on sales calls to justify your price. And you feel like you have to prove yourself. Well, I can do this or I can do that. But cheap clients actually require more time. Because think about this. One of the women I talked to on a call last week, Allie, she invested in a course that was teaching her applications, job ops, resumes, all those things. She got 4 clients. So her VA coach is like, oh my gosh, she had 4 clients. But what the VA coach is not saying in her marketing is that they are all $250 clients. Well, 2 to 250. Why? I don't even think she was actually technically at 1,000 with 4 clients. So every time you're clocking in and out, every time you're going and answering messages, every time you have to get, even if you are clocking your hours, that is more time because you're managing more people, just like me, right? I have a 7-figure business. And so when I had a team of 12 people, even though I had a COO, right? That was still more time. And that's why I fired everybody because it was taking up so much of my time. So cheap clients require more time, more communication, and more control. And you actually end up doing more work for less money. And that's what's keeping you busy, but you're not actually making a profit. So like Allie, I kid you not, she was working 40 hours at her 9 to 5, making 5K a month. That's how much she has to make. So think about this and do the math. If Allie wanted to leave her 9 to 5, and for easy math, we'll just say she actually was making $1,000 with 4 clients. Let's do some girl math. How many more clients would she need to hit 5K? Charging what she is. 16 more clients. Do any of you on here want 20 clients? If it's just you, right? Agency, coaching, if you want to pivot. But you, as a virtual assistant, do not want 20 clients. That is going to take up way more. And even with her 4 clients, guess how many hours a week she was working on top of her 9 to 5? 40 hours. Because she was trading time for money. She's already capped. She's working 80 hours a week. She was burned out. She was exhausted. And not only that, but the other time away from client work, what she was doing was more resumes. So because she was talking to people that are looking at her as another bill, right? As another monthly payment versus an actual person. And we're gonna be digging into this deeper here in the next few slides, but looking at it as an investment, looking at her as an ROI. And she has an amazing skill set. So premium clients ask, does this solve my problem? How much money are you going to make me? Is this going to help me grow? And is this going to save me time? Now, that's not going to say, and we'll dig in this a little bit more as well, just go and say, oh, I give you back 10 hours a week. Or, oh, I take tasks off your plate. Guys, this is not 2020. People are not wanting to pay premium rates or even $25 an hour anymore for all of that. So I'm going to show you exactly what they are willing to pay for. And if you guys have questions too, you guys are so freaking quiet. Holy shit. Guys, drop questions, interact, answer questions, all the things. I want to make sure this is tailored to the people that actually showed up for this, or I did have a lot of people that submitted time. So I was actually up until 3 a.m. going and tailoring it to the people that had sent out emails last night. So of what they were wanting to specifically learn. So, and if we do have some time at the end, we will definitely be going and doing some hot seat coaching as well. But I want to make sure I'm answering all of your questions because I guarantee if you guys have a question, that someone else has a question too, like watching the replay. So how to know what clients are actually going to pay for. So I was talking to a woman last night, Shelby, and she was like, I just don't think people will go and pay for this. Well, yeah, they're not going to go pay 3K a month for what she was going and offering. Because guess what she was offering? Calendar management, responding to emails, right? A bunch of stuff that could be automated. So that's going to make her irrelevant and replaceable, right? That's why we're including AI and everything now with their skill sets. But also, they could go do that because they're going to look at, oh, paying her 25 bucks an hour, or I can just go do it myself because it takes like 30 seconds. They're thinking of the upfront costs. And it's not always monetarily, but the time to train, the time it takes to train you. And we're gonna be getting into that as well too later on. But they don't want to do that because they are busy. They have a seven-figure business, a six-figure business, an eight-figure business. They don't got time for all that. So I'm going to be walking you through exactly how to position yourself to not be a drain on their company or on their business. So you don't have to figure this out by guessing or asking what people need. I can spot either a new virtual assistant or a virtual assistant that just got clients by luck. I can't, it doesn't happen very often, but there's a lot of women that I was talking to really in like December and January. Maybe it's because I was doing like a big launch then, that I had talked to actually 4 years ago. And they were making like three, four, almost 5K, but they had 10 plus clients. One had like 14 and drained, burned out, and she's still in debt. Has no money, no credit, can't invest. Why? Because she didn't structure her business correctly from the beginning. But she can't quit. She can't go back to a 9 to 5. They're trying to buy a house. She is literally stuck. So it's either new or, right, you don't have the actual framework. You don't actually know what you're doing. I can spot that. Here's how I can spot it. Because when we go look at your bio, I can just tell that you're just like, right, making assumptions. You're pulling shit out of your ass. You're listing a bunch of tasks versus the results and the outcomes of working with you. And when I go and look at your profile, you're not speaking into pain points. You're being very generic. You're talking about, oh, I can go take this off your plate. Or what would it be like to have a VA take, if you got 10 hours back every single day? And it's not speaking to them. It literally is reading chat GPT or right? You're just assuming things. It doesn't make any sense and it's not aligned. And I don't expect you guys to know that because you don't know what you don't know, right? You're brand new. But that's exactly why I teach all of this because the framework and the structure is how you're going to be able to scale and not just scale and be a one hit wonder. I don't want you to leave your 9 to 5 and be hit what 5K and then next month you lose a client and now you're down 2K and you don't know how to go replace that 3K quickly. Do you guys know how to even go lock in a client right now for 1,000? Jen, I know you do, but for $1,000, no, you don't. So because you don't have an actual strategy, you got clients by luck, by going and applying to jobs, or maybe you've got some local people, but you're still undervalued, you're underpaid, and you're positioned as an employee and you're treated like it. So market research is going to remove all the guesswork. And we actually have an AI prompt that expedites it. So that way, boom, instead of taking, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to go talk to your ideal target audience, guess what? My AI prompt actually does all that for you. That way you are just going and right expediting you, locking in that premium client way more quickly. And so you're going to figure it out by looking at what they are already paying for and what is causing problems. So asking your ideal target audience, have you outsourced XYZ before you go and offer it? But it's not have you outsourced content and your emails and going and scheduling in appointments for you. You don't work as an assistant at a doctor's office, right? These are 6, 7, 8 figure businesses. They want results, they want ROI. And you're not focusing on problems. You are focusing on the day to day and just going and doing simple admin tasks that don't take them very long. Guys, I promise you, your ideal target audience, and guess what? Even if they aren't a 6 figure business owner, do you think if you're just offering calendar management and scheduling out content that they already wrote, that they're going to have enough hours, even at $25 an hour, to even be able to pay you 500? No. And I can answer that because, right, I've done that. They don't have enough to even give you because they're not established enough. So those people are not going to be ideal. And this is where they are losing, they're going to look at it as like they're either going to be losing time or money. And you can find this everywhere. People need your skill sets and you are doing them a disservice by not actually, number one, offering them and talking about what you do, but not actually being the solution. They have a problem. Their problem is not that they need someone to go answer their emails. It is bigger than that because I've hired a VA, and guess what? That VA made my life way more stressful because guess what? I had already paid them for the hours and they were constantly coming to me. I got this done. What do you need me to do next? Okay? I'm a mom. That's what my 8 and my 12-year-olds do. When they're like, okay, I cleaned the toilet, I'm grounded. What else do you want me to go do? Do the dishes, right? Whatever. I have 3 kids. I don't have time to mom you, right? And so that's what we're looking for. Someone that is going to take initiative. Someone that's not going to come and ask us a question that they can go and just Google it on their own, right? Or watch a YouTube, right? But here's the thing. You don't have to do that. Because if you have the actual skills and you know that they need that and you know how it translates to the online space, that's how you're going to know that 6, 7, 8 figure business owners need your offer. And we need to validate that before you scale. Because I have seen way too many VAs say, I'm going to go work with mompreneurs, or I'm going to go work, or I help small businesses take admin and their tech and systems off their plate so that they can spend more time doing what they love. That's like me going and saying, I help my client, or I help VAs go and land clients, right? Dig a little bit deeper because think about my business. You guys aren't just wanting clients. Anyone, I've proven that. Anyone can go land a shitty client, and you don't have to go invest in one of those courses that teaches you how to build a portfolio or resume to go do that. You guys can go do that today, but that's not why you're here. No, they can't teach what I teach, which is premium retainer clients. All right. So they are everywhere. There are literally millions and millions and millions of business owners that make 6 figures plus that need your skill set, but you don't know where to go find them because you're not a 6 figure business owner yet. And you've never done this before, entrepreneurship. But when it comes to your skills, you are locked in. You just need to learn the skills that you don't know, which is positioning, marketing, and sales, which is what we're going to be getting into next. All right. So is all this clicking? Anyone have any questions? Drop in the chat below. I'm going to wait until someone comments to make sure you guys aren't sleeping. I'm not going to move on until someone comments. I'm putting you guys on the spot. Questions. I want to make sure you guys are listening. What's your biggest takeaway so far? Questions about positioning. Do you have any questions? Anybody? Yay. Is it Jen? No questions. Awesome. You're not sleeping on me. I love it. Oh, Leah, I missed yours. No questions. This is great. Yay. Okay. Thanks, guys. I just want to make sure. All right. You're good. I just want to make sure you guys like aren't sleeping on me and I'm not boring you guys because I really do try to like bring the energy. So positioning and that equals perception. So positioning is not your niche. I hear this so often of, well, they're within my niche. Think about this. My ideal target audience when I started working, well, once I invested with my business coach was fitness coaches, all right? But think about it. If you have a fitness coach, excuse me, that is brand new, right? That's not going to be ideal. And so when we think of ideal, it's not just your niche. And I want you to write that down because what also falls under your ITA, your ideal target audience, or your ICA, your ideal client avatar, basically the same thing. But when you're thinking about that, who are the established people? And you're probably like, oh my gosh, I need a niche down. I don't even know how, like who to target, right? But where do the established people within that niche? And not only that, but think about this. I had a client one time, and oh, this is a great example. Her name was Kelly. She paid me, I couldn't get on a package at all. And I really sucked at positioning and sales calls, all this. I was a little baby VA, all right? Circa like 2018, 2019. And she paid me $240. I don't even remember, but she wouldn't even do like one of my retainer, like my $1,400 or my $2,800 package, right? I don't even know why I did it. But yeah, I fired her within less than 2 weeks. I think it was like 10 days. She literally was like, unlike your other clients, I'm going to make you use your brain. My other clients are paying me between 1,400 and almost 3 grand a month. And I'm running their entire operations for them, like everything, launches, literally everything. Like basically their COO, which I should have been charging more. And then you're telling me that I need to go use my brain. Why? Because she's not ideal. It was a red flag from the beginning, right? And so when you're saying I'm a virtual assistant, and guys, newsflash, I guarantee once we break down all of your skill sets, which we're going to be doing, every single thing that you guys know how to do, guess what? You're not going to be a virtual assistant. Virtual assistant nowadays is kind of like an online service provider, right? Have you guys noticed? And I noticed this clear back in 2017 when I was, graduated from college, but a bachelor's degree doesn't really mean much anymore. Have you guys noticed that? It doesn't mean much. Why? Because everyone was told you need a bachelor's degree and it was right to go land a good job. Guess what? I went and applied to over 50 jobs and got one job that paid me $35,000 a year. I owed more than that in student debt, and that's with the military paying for part of my education because I joined the military at 17. And it didn't even require a degree. I've never once used my degree. Maybe a little bit because like PR, I did some like marketing and journalism, but right for my business, kind of, right? Maybe, but I don't. That's the same with virtual assistant. Virtual assistant doesn't mean what it did in 2018 or 2020 or even 2024. Because, right, number one, we're in a trust recession because there was a big boom during COVID, right? About a couple years after I got in the online space. And people woke up, VA coaches that are like, or women that woke up on, I'm a VA coach. I literally saw VAs that told me in the DMs that they didn't know how to go land a client. But then a month later, they're saying they're a virtual assistant, right? And people have gotten scammed. We're in a trust recession, and that goes for virtual assistants too. There's virtual assistants out there that overpromised or like took their money and never did it. Now, that's not to scare you. Does that happen a lot? No, it doesn't. Right? Is every investment, whether it be in a VA or right with Alex Hermosi, I spent $50,000 just to relearn what I already knew. And then he's like, go run ads. To be fair, they did tell me to lean into AI, and I did do the AI certification. And then that's when we hit over 100K month, right? But, which was amazing, huge goal of mine. So it did work, right? But everything else I already knew. That's what I'm teaching you right now. Everything. $50,000. It is what it is. But I can say I worked with Alex Hermosi. What's the comment say? This is great. Yes. And I had that question about calling myself a VA versus client ops specialist. Ooh, yeah, love it. And guys, also too, yes, 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 yes. And here's the thing too, guys, is that when you are looking at everything, right? I was calling myself a virtual assistant. And back then, I sound like I'm 90 years old. Back in my day, my kids always like will joke too of like, oh, if I was gonna tell an old story, yeah, it's funny. They don't have any sense of time. So like, oh, were you born like the 1980s? I'm like, actually, I was born 1990, but thank you. But anyways, back in the olden days, before we had reels, even on Instagram, when we had Instagram TV, if you guys remember that, that was a big thing for a little bit. I remember when we first got music on Instagram. It's so crazy. But when I was working with my business coach, she was like, Jade, you're already like working as an OBM. But we still were ingrained with the corporate mindset that we have to climb a ladder. And what does that ladder look like? VA, OBM, and then coach. So when she told me, you guys know my story, when I got 3K in 3 weeks after trying for 18 months, and I started to like kind of coach my friends that were VAs for free in the DMs, don't do that. She was like, Jade, you're already doing like OBM work. I was literally running their business. And looking back now, I was a COO. But back then, that wasn't really a thing. And the reason why we think that, right, is because what do we see? Our parents staying at the same boring effing job, which I could never do. I have ADHD, if you guys can't tell, unmedicated. But that's my superpower, right? I get so bored and I get so depressed sitting at a desk all day. I can't do it. But when I'm behind a desk and I'm learning, that's what lights me up. And so you don't have to go do that. And so my VA coach was like, okay, we actually pivoted to me being an OBM for like a week. And I was like, F this shit. I've already been doing that work. I'm ready to up level. I knew I could get my clients results because I had achieved it. So as long as you've achieved it, if you are taking into account anything you've invested in, like Jen, she's invested a lot of money with me, right? And so you have to take that into account because it's just like college, which I can't even really use that anymore, right? Because now everyone needs a master's degree to actually get a job, where before you just needed a bachelor's degree. It's sad. But with all of that, that's why the positioning matters. And we're gonna be breaking that down. So, and guys, don't worry about this. I'm gonna be giving you guys an amazing, amazing worksheet and some homework at the end of this. So I don't want you guys to be going and like doing this now. I want you guys to be like paying attention. But I am gonna be breaking down of like giving you guys some ideas of what that higher level is. Because just like a bachelor's degree and a master's degree and a doctorate degree, right? You guys already have skills that people need. You just don't know how it transfers to the online space. All right. You have already, if you are calling yourself VA, if your name or title is virtual assistant, you've already positioned yourself as cheap labor. All right. You're not leveraging your experience, what you've already invested in. You need to take all of that into account and your business expenses as well, which that's going to be more into like the offer and what you need to be charging. All right. So here, 3 second decision. Now, I know I'm like jumping a little bit, but this all ties in. All right. So marketing, because when I talk to you guys, and tell me too if this is you, be honest, this was me. Well, I was cold emailing, but how many of you guys know to go talk to people in the DMs? Therefore, you just are focusing on marketing. So that could be anything. What is marketing? Making like, and if you invest in a course, they're probably just telling you, right, to go do random shit that you literally could have Googled or figured out for yourself. Like, it's mind blowing to me what VA coaches are teaching in courses still to this day when it's proven it doesn't actually work for premium retainer clients, or really at all to leave your 9 to 5, but without having a million clients. But that's what they're still teaching, right? Go make a Facebook post, go post on Instagram. All of you guys are talking to your idle clients in the DMs. Holy cow, that's a first. Never seen that. But marketing feels safer. Yeah, you might not know what to always talk about, right? In the DMs or what to talk about in your content. Do you guys know what to actually talk about in your content? Do you guys know what to say in the DMs? Be honest, because I didn't. I was like, hey, I'm a VA. Hire me. If you guys didn't watch my Instagram reel yesterday, watch it. Everyone thought it was hilarious. I literally watched someone else do that and I'm like, it came to me. I'm like, this is so, and not even to be, that was me as a new virtual assistant. Um, Not really. No. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So, with that being said, you guys, okay. So 3 to 5 seconds. Do you guys know that's how long it takes for someone to go and decide? So a lot of times I'll hear people say, I need a, they'll focus on things that aren't money generating activities. So everything that I'm teaching you right now is actually these are the most important money generating activities that you need to be doing. All right. When I burned my business down to the ground last year, because I'm not going to lie, listening to someone that has a $500 million business was not at my level, right? So yeah, I like fired my team and just like burned it down and like rebuilt it. I did after my divorce too. And I did that because I was like, I knew there was a shift. I'm like, what used to work isn't working anymore. But the same principles, right? The same framework, it's exactly the same. It's just the way that we are positioning you now, right? Where now it's not a virtual assistant. But you guys are focusing on things that don't matter. You guys are following your LLC. Guess what? This is gonna be awesome. You guys are like, oh my God, Jade. Like, sorry, oh my gosh, shouldn't say the Lord's name in vain. Oh my gosh, Jade, I can't believe this. But guess what? I did not file my LLC until like 2 years in. I did a sole proprietorship. And the only reason I filed my LLC is because I was getting a divorce and I needed proof of 2 years of income. And then, we had our house built, but we had to rent during that. And so, because I didn't have 2 years of proof, because I didn't have a sole proprietorship. So you can file your LLC, but is that really going to matter? Is you filing your LLC Is a six, seven, eight figure, or even a brand new business owner that's going to pay you $250, is that why they're going to hire you? Because you have an LLC? No. How will they even know? Because I was coaching women and I didn't have an LLC. Legally, I don't need one. I had a sole proprietorship, right? So it doesn't matter. Or they'll focus on their branding and their colors or their fonts. It don't matter. As long as you don't have poop brown and lime green and blood red, right? That wouldn't look very attractive. Guess what? It doesn't matter. When I hit 3K as a VA, if you guys scroll all the way, I need to do that and like put this in this presentation. If you guys scroll all the way back, guys, graphics, you guys know, suck. I mean, I literally copied my onboarding and like did this. I'm not a visual artistic person, but I don't need to be to do what I do. I don't need to be for a virtual assistant. No one's gonna hire you because you have pretty fonts. No one's gonna hire you because you have Canva videos. No one gives a shit. I've never once hired, and I've hired and fired a lot of people, including family members. Not easy. And guess what? I've never once hired them because, oh, they have amazing branding. It's for their knowledge and their experience and the results they can deliver. Because that's what that elevated, more ideal person talked, or that's how we think, right? Like me. When Alex Hermosi pitched me last year, I literally looked at my COO and I was like, how much? I knew it was gonna be a lot, but I didn't care because I saw the value and I made my ROI back, but I saw the value. I saw the results. My goal, I was like, yeah, I've made millions in the online space, but I want to have $1 million a year. I did not bat an eye at paying him $50,000, which mind you, I was making $35,000 at my 9 to 5 that I left back in 2018. I was able to do that by implementing what I'm teaching you. Okay, I'll be done with my rant. So 3 to 5 seconds to decide if they want to work with you. And I'm gonna be walking through exactly what they're gonna be looking at and all the details of that. So for the first impression, right? Guys, do not have your logo as your profile picture. That right there screams scam. Again, focusing on a logo. Guys, my logo, I don't even like it's this. Cohort that I was in, they went and like did some of my branding and my slides for me. I don't need it. It doesn't make me money. A website. I get 3 6-figure years without a website. Every single year since 2020, I went into the new year. So December 2019, already at a 6-figure year for the following year. Every year. Even now, technically I have a website. It's on Squarespace and I don't even think it's like connected to my, why? Because I don't need it. They are, and I say they, right? There's people out there that will talk you into buying shiny object syndrome. Oh, buy these pretty templates, buy my XYZ. Oh, buy my website template. You need my portfolio template. You need to go work for free to build up your portfolio. Working for free is not going to get you premium clients. And you guys already told me in the DMs that you already know you could be making more money. Why would you work for free? I'm a virtual assistant. You're not a virtual assistant. Actually, now that I've broken down your skill set, you should be a CSM or a CMO. And they're like, what? Yeah. And if you go to LinkedIn and type in CSM or what Alex Hermosi is paying his CMO, guess what? 6 figures. That could be you. But you're going and taking feedback from people that can't even, that don't even have consistent income in their own business. Does that make any sense? Sustainability. My business is so sustainable. I was able to build a house. I was able to retire my husband, right? It's all of this. This is business structure. But other courses and VA coaches don't want to teach you this because they're afraid then that they're not going to be able to go and upsell you because they are wanting to sell you knowledge that's already on Google that you can figure out your fucking self. I'm sorry, I dropped the F-bomb. But I'm tired of it. You should be paying for implementation. All right, this is the knowledge. What do I need? Do I need support? What do I need to go implement the knowledge? Because I can sit here and do this all day long with you guys, but if you're not actually going and implementing the steps, you're going to be on my next free training and wondering why you're still stuck. And it's not because this doesn't work. It's because you didn't try. It's because you didn't implement it. All right. So there's my rant about other people in the online space because I'm really tired of getting on sales calls with VAs that are upset that they spent thousands of dollars and they literally are spending the few precious hours they have at night with their family going and applying for hundreds of more job applications or being stuck in Facebook groups, hoping and wishing and praying that someone picks them. They're now a pick me girl, right? Which, if you guys watch Love is Blind, right? No one likes the pick me girl. So 80% they're going to scan and they usually don't read. So, what are they actually going to go in and read? All right. And this is what we're going to be talking about because if they go to your profile and they're confused, confused people don't buy. It needs to be clear exactly what you do and what that looks like, right? All right. No, no, yeah. All right. So now I want you guys to take a couple minutes and read over this. And there's way more than this. These are just a lot of the ones that my current clients currently are doing, right? And guys, guess what, too? Okay. This is the beauty of having expert eyes on your business. Because, like me or Chris combined, we have over a decade of entrepreneur and online experience and work with brick and mortars and sales and marketing. Over 2 decades. All right. Chris is my sales coach, co-coach. So he's a sales expert. He hit 3x my income in 30 days. The framework he uses, the same framework I've always used, but he does it a lot better and goes more in depth. It's brought in over $140 million in the online space in just the last couple of years. It works. It really does. But none of that matters if you're positioning. So even if your marketing and your sales is amazing, if you're positioned as a task taker, as a time trader, trading your time for money, none of this is going to matter. So I want you guys to take a look at this, and I want every single one of you to put in the chat of what you think, even if it's not every single thing. Because here's the thing. When we go and break down your skill set, you're going to have your pillar pitch. There's 3 pillars. And if you've been on a call with me, I've done this as well too. I'm not going and breaking down, okay, so you're going to get a monthly one-on-one call with me and 24/7 Voxer access and access to over 100 modules. People don't want that, but this is what they want. Yeah, so when you get and start working with me, you're going to go and learn a framework that's brought in over $140 million in sales. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually break down all of your skill sets. We're going to productize and systemize it into a package offer that is going to be aligned with your ideal target audience. So the people that actually are needing your skill sets. From there, we're going to make blah, 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 right? And that's how we're going to be able to get you to 10K months in your business. Boom. Which one makes you more excited? Does it sound exciting? Yeah, so it sounds like really what you're needing is for me to go answer your emails and clear out your DMs every day and organize your Google Drive. Or, yeah, so it sounds like right now you are drowning in the back end stuff. You've got some systems, everything's living in your head right now. You're needing SOPs built out. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do for you is I'm going to take all this and we're going to go and implement systems of month 1. After that, I'm going to be going and refining that because right now you're losing a lot of money, it looks like, in the gap of your business with retention. So if we can actually go in and increase your retention, you're not going to have your DMs that are going and doing so much lead generation. And then if we go and position your content and we can actually, and I can go track the data to see what's working, we can also direct them to go book a call directly. That way it's taking a lot, blah, 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 right? You are now a solution to their problem. You are 2 steps ahead of them. You are anticipating their needs, right? So, like Abby today on here, Abby's amazing. Abby's new on my team. Hi, Abby, giving you a shout out. Today, she was like, Jade, what do you need from me? How can I help you? That right there is amazing. Do you know how many people, VAs or other people I've had in my business that have never even asked me that? I think like maybe 1 or 2 people, right? And it's not like, oh, hey, tasks, right? But she's anticipating my needs because she knows that I'm in back-to-back calls today and doing a training, right? She's anticipating my needs and looking to go above and beyond. So let me see. CSM. Ooh, I'm so glad, Abby. CSM. I love that. Leah. Is anything resonating? But here's the thing, guys, is when we go and break down your skill set, we're also going to take into account what it is that you're wanting. So for example, one of my clients, Heather, amazing. She was a RN. She worked at a hospital and she worked in the OR. Guys, I kid you not, this hospital had a horrible reputation. They lost, I think, like funding from the state, and they actually operated on the wrong knee. What is a consequence of that, them not operating the wrong knee, right? What is the consequence of that? Well, first, we need to figure out what happened. So, when I was on my one on one coaching call with Heather, when she first signed up, we were breaking this down because she's like, I don't have any skill sets. I was a nurse, I was in the OR. How does that translate to the online space? Because a lot of you guys think that whatever you're doing at your 9 to 5, that needs to be your ideal target audience. That doesn't make any sense. Because, right, if like let's just say right? Like fitness coaches. I didn't go and choose fitness coaches. Like, yeah, I was a beach body coach, I guess, but I wasn't looking to be a coach. I wasn't looking at my VA business. Like, I didn't need to understand fitness coaching, right? You don't, because you're not looking to go coach them on losing weight or getting toned in your 40s or whatever it is, right? Your zone of genius is not your ideal freaking target audience, guys. Think about it. Your zone of genius. So if it is fitness coaches, what's their zone of genius? Working out, losing weight. That's great. And I can attest from when I had clients many years ago that she had no idea how to work her Instagram. She had no idea how to set up a lead magnet. She had no idea about a good open rate for email marketing. I knew all that. I knew the data. And a lot of you guys, when you're going and doing these things, you're not tracking data. You are just going and completing a task. Oop, done. I did my to-do list today. Time to clock out. You could be at a 9 to 5. But with this, if you're going and being like, okay, here's your problem, but what is the solution? So so with Heather, to go back to a real life example, when I was breaking down what she was doing, guess what she did? She went to every single person in the OR department and went and literally recorded every single thing that was in their head of what they did because there was a lack of communication. They didn't have any weekly meetings scheduled. They didn't have standard operating procedures in place. They had nothing. So when Heather went in and did that, guess what? She was auditing the hospital. That transfers over perfectly because there's online business owners that are so in their business that they can't zoom out and look at everything overall because they're also, think of this, emotionally attached to their business. I always joke that my business is my fourth freaking baby, right? It is. So think about that. Think about a commercial for a flight. For like, let's just say American Airlines, and they're like, yeah, we got new seat belts, and you get some free cookies and peanuts when you fly with us, and then you'll get a complimentary can of ginger ale. And that's in their commercial. Would you guys watch that? Would you be like, hell yeah, let's go book a flight with American Airlines? I want some free peanuts. No. But if they talk about the transformation, oh, you're in Iowa and it's cold and it's a blizzard and you are ready to get in warm weather and relaxation, right? They're going to film a family frolicking on the beach, happy as can be, soaking up the sun, lounging. They've got a pina colada, right? With the big, that's what they want. That excites them. But right now, you're getting into the nitty gritty details. And because you're getting into the nitty gritty details, that's why you think you don't know enough. I know every single one of you on here has done this because I've done as a new VA. You're going and learning more skill sets and platforms. There's a woman, Mary, I talked to clear back, I kid you not, in 2021. And I always joke with people on my team, Abby, go for it. I'm like, if we can, right, get her in my program, because it's been 5 years, right, I'll give you a bonus. Because she is convinced, right? Way back then, I'm just a teacher. She had 4 kids. Guess what? She's had her 5th kid. And she quit her teaching job to be at home with them. And instead of learning sales, marketing, and positioning, guess what she went and invested in? An ads course. And guess what? It's that's all she learned was a skill set. She doesn't know how to position herself for that. She doesn't know how to productize and systemize the offer. She doesn't know sales and marketing. So now she's sitting with all this knowledge that she can't even implement. She can't even go run ads. And ads are very difficult to actually go and prove those results. because now you're using someone else's money, their budget to monitor it. And because she spent the little bit of money that she did have, she's stuck in her business. Still, no clients, no job, 5 kids. So, all that to say is we want to take into account exactly what it is that you do, but also be able in your pillar pitch on that sales call to be able to go add in whatever it is. So maybe like you do know Pinterest. You can add that in there. But is that and that goes into like my framework for my your guys' core themes, right? But are you going to be talking about Pinterest if that's the outlier, right? If you have 100 ideal target audiences or ideal clients in your DMs and only one of them needs Pinterest and that's not one of your core themes, you're not going to go talk about that in your marketing. But in your pillar pitch, if they need that and if that is a skill set you have that can go get them that result, then hell yeah, go do it. Hi, Lydia. Hi, Michelle. We've got some time left, and I'm going to be doing some hot seat coaching for probably about another 30 minutes if you guys are cool with it. We've got a few more slides though too, so stay tuned. All right, if you guys have any questions, drop them below. If you guys want to share where you're at with your journey, what you've currently been doing, we've got some quiet peeps on here. So if you guys want to, and I love interaction. I feed off of your guys' energy. I want you guys to leave this call energized and be like, you know what? We're done settling. All right. That's the vibes I want going into this moving forward. Well, not moving forward. We've had it the whole time, but with you guys hopping on here a little bit too. So I wanted to walk through that with you guys. So one thing that I want you guys to think about. All right. When you go to the doctor, what do you do when you go into the doctor? Do you go into the doctor? Okay, this is one. I'm going to do 1 and 2. And I want you to comment below of what you do. 1 or 2. When you go to the doctor, right? Because they have the experience, they've invested probably about 300,000, to get all the degrees and credentials they need to be a doctor. They've got years of hands-on experience, all of that. You go see this expert, the doctor, and you go in there and you're like, I've got nausea and diarrhea and a migraine, and I need you to prescribe me XYZ. Right? That's number 1. Or number 2, you go in there and they ask you questions to dig in a little bit deeper. Okay, so I know you mentioned headache. When did that start to occur? 24 hours ago, okay? And when did the nausea and the diarrhea start? Okay, 48 hours ago. All right. And then are you allergic to anything? Have you changed anything in your diet? Have you had a fever? All right. So for everything I'm hearing, it sounds like you need XYZ. All right. So comment below, guys. 1 or 2. Which one? 1 or 2? What do you guys do when you guys go to a doctor and expert? Anybody? 2. Exactly. Okay, so let me ask you this, and I just know because I've been doing this for so many years. I've worked with over 1,000 women. Then why the hell, when an ideal client gets on a call with you, right? A sales call, you can call it a coffee chats are so stupid. A coffee chat is a sales call and you should treat it like one. Discovery call, I don't care. You're getting on a call. They're an ideal target audience. Why are you letting them be number 1? That number 1 patient that we just talked about. Because that's what you're doing. You get on a call and they're like, oh, hey, super excited. So glad. Okay, so here's what I'm needing. No, you lead the conversation, right? But that right there, when you guys go and do that, when you let them talk first, when you don't set the agenda, when you don't frame the call, right there, position yourself as lower level. When you slide in their DMs and you cold pitch them, or you go and do a follow up, hey, just wanted to bump this up. I know the DMs can get crazy, which yes, I know that used to be my follow up message. Don't judge me. I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know better, okay? But I did that. Or right, that's basically like, hey, I know I'm annoying the F out of you, but I'm gonna be the annoying person anyways and check in. That's not how you do a follow up in the DMs, right? Entry level. Your very first message, you're setting a precedent. That is a first impression. Think of your business like dating. All right? Think about it. and I'm going to be a little whatever here, but if you're in a bar, right, you're looking to date, you're looking for your soulmate, whatever, and there's 200 people in the bar. If you go to every single person in that bar, and let's just say, hey, I'm Jade, which I'm not a single mom, but I'm just going to pretend, right? Okay. Actually, we'll just say, I'm Billy Joe. There we go. I'm Billy Joe. I'm a single mom and, I do this and that, whatever. Do you want to go on a date? Eventually, you might, out of 200 people, you might have someone that says yeah, but I don't know, maybe he's got like I don't know. He's like not your soulmate, right? He's not like a high standard. You're just kind of like settling. Maybe he's got some really bad dandruff on his shoulders, like not your type, right? Maybe he doesn't have a job. He's 50, living at home with his parents, right? But you're like, you know what? I got one out of 200, whatever. Let's just see where it goes and we'll just go and get married, right? No, that's not what you do, right? What did you do? You had to talk to other people and you had to have maybe an actual like strategy, but what is your strategy, right? Dating, getting to know them. That's the exact same thing. So it's not just about going and applying for more jobs and just settling for whatever they say of like I have no job, I live with my mom, I don't bathe, all of that, I don't brush my teeth. No, you want to set your standards high. My mom said that I deserve the best man, right? So I'm gonna go marry a rich doctor who spoils me and buys me roses every single week and always tells me how beautiful I am, right? Set the standard higher, guys. Think about your business like dating. Quit positioning yourself as lower level from the beginning. So, what are you going to do? You're going to start with the problem. And it's not one problem. Don't go talk to one person and take what they say. Because remember, it's not just their niche. It's not just are they fitness coaches, but what is the overall problem? And this is a little bit of stats and a little bit of marketing. I actually went, I forget the company because it was 2016, but when I was in my PR group in college, right, with like marketing. We went to like a really big marketing firm in Chicago, and they worked with like the M&M candy, right? And so what we learned is that you want to reach the most people, right? So I even tell my clients this, everything I teach in my program, 80, like in the modules, right? It's the framework and it's 80 to 90%. But there's always going to be those outliers in that customization, right? Which don't get me started on the cookie cutter courses. They're just like, go, aimlessly network and do coffee chats and all that bullshit. But because that doesn't work, but you want to speak to the larger audience, right? So if you've got a sample of, and this is what my AI prompt does for my clients, of 500 people, right? You're brain dumping what you do know and all that good stuff. AI is going to fill in the rest for your market research. And 80% of people are needing, or this is their goal, right? Their goal in their business as a, let's see, established 6-figure plus fitness coach, let's just say, is that they're wanting to, um, right? Because everyone wants to work less and make more money, everybody. But like, let's say that they want to be removed as like the CEO. They need like a right hand woman. And you're like, okay, with my skill set, I can actually go and do that. Okay. But then maybe you're talking to another person like, oh, I need you to go set up my Pinterest. You're not going to go, right? Change your core themes. You're not going to go change your bio. You're not going to go change your skill set. But that's what I see VAs do. They hear feedback from one person. They change their pricing. They change their packaging. They literally go down an effing rabbit hole and they forget everything that they were taught if you learn the actual framework of what to do. And they're trying to appease that one person. The one person that said $300 a month was too much, or go and learn a skill set to go land $300 Pinterest client. It makes no sense. No sense. Are there maybe a little bit of gaps? Yeah, like with my client Heather, she literally audited hospitals and ORs. She increased their revenue. She increased their customer satisfaction, right? They haven't had any more people operating on the wrong knee. She did that. That is huge. That right there is a multi-million dollar mistake. She saved them millions of dollars from having that repeat. That is huge. And guess what? There are people like me. I'm your idol audience because guess what? At the end of the day, my niche doesn't matter. It doesn't. Yes, you do need to have a niche. You do need to know who you're talking to. Because if you're trying to talk to everybody, you're talking to no one. If you're trying to be a Jane of all trades and do everything for everyone, like that's not going to hit home. Because if you come to me like, I can answer your emails and I can do this and I can do that, I don't give a shit. Why do I care? What are the consequences? So, what is the overall goal of your ideal target audience? And how are you the solution to that? And those are two of the core themes that I teach in my program because you have to know that. Because up here, right, it's your positioning. And underneath that, it's your core themes. And everything else trickles down to marketing and sales. And then once you get clients, it's fulfillment. Those are the only three things that you need to worry about once you have your positioning done. That's it. You guys are overcomplicating it. Now, you might be like, okay, well, I know my ITA, but where do I actually get clients? Or how do I actually, like find them? Where are they at? Well, that's exactly what I help my clients do because I've been doing this for so long. I've worked for 7 years. I've been in the online space myself as a VA for nearly almost a decade, just shy of a decade. I've helped over 1,000 women. I know which ones are most profitable. I know where business owners like me go and hang out at, and it's not freaking Facebook group job ops, right? There's VA coaches out there that are selling you a course about perfecting your resume and your portfolio. But if that shit worked, then why are they doing a post that says comment below for job ops? They want you to stay stuck. So then you have to pay them to give you leads. And you think it's simpler because they're being handed to you. But it's just like an agency. That's why an agency, I worked in an agency as a brand new VA before I learned all this. That's why they were only paying me $12 to $15 an hour because they were doing the positioning, they were doing the marketing and the sales. They had invested to learn what I couldn't and wouldn't at that point until I learned better. But then when I learned to go do that myself, guess what? I've made millions in the online space. So you guys have a path to choose, entrepreneurship or employee. And because we are ingrained with 9 to 5, that's the route that we go to. As humans, we navigate to what we know. Have you guys ever seen, and this is a very depressing topic, but the book Unfuck Yourself, all right? And sorry for dropping the F-bomb twice in this training video. I love Jesus, but I got a potty mouth. I got a little thing somewhere that says that. So sorry. But when it comes down to like the job ops and the resumes and all of that, remember, you're going to need so much more leads and clients. And that's what keeps you stuck. And they want that because they want reoccurring monthly revenue. They want you to be paying a fee every single month for crappy job ops. But when you do that, you're not in control. And guys, I don't know if you've heard, but a lot of people are getting laid off. Even the person I talked to last night, Shelby, she is getting demoted at her job. And so right now she's like what she makes at her 9 to 5 is equal to her bills. So here at the end of the month, she's taking a pay cut. And so she was like, okay, do I go and invest or do I wing it myself for the next 30 days? And I told her, you can go get clients. Anyone can go get crappy clients, right? Anybody. But now you are a small fish in a big pond. Because when I see those Instagram posts of like comment job ops below or those Facebook groups, there are hundreds, if not sometimes 1,000 women. I'm a VA. I'm a VA. You don't stand out. Here is how you stand out. Here is how you stand out by speaking to their pain point. How many of you guys have consumed my content on Instagram or in my Facebook group? I mean, you're here, so I'm going to go ahead and assume yes. Emails. And how many of you guys have said this resonates with me? Like, holy shit, Jade is talking to me. That's what makes me buy. Emotion. I'm an emotional buyer. But also, I have that mindset. Why? Because I've invested over, and over again. Remember, over $250,000, $100,000 in 2025 alone, because I could sense the AI shift and what was working before wasn't working anymore. I had to fire everyone. I burned this shit down to the ground and I rebuilt it, my own business, and did trial and error because I'm not going to be like those coaches that are like just, dangling the carrot of like, oh, you got to spend a little bit more. No, I don't sell that. I sell transformations. And that's how I'm so confident you guys can do it. That's how my client Sam was able to go lock in a 10K retainer package last week. All right. 250, $2,500 a month. Then her second one she locked in. She had 4 calls in 5 weeks. In 5 weeks, she's making more than she was in her 9 to 5. 3,500. She's making $200 more than that now. 3,700, 5 weeks doing all this. She had a VA business in 2020. I talked to her in 2020. She already had a coach, one of those courses. And guess what? She had to shut down her business. And I'll put up receipts later if you want. I'll block out her name, but I'll put on my stories if you guys want it. She had to quit it. 2022. Went back to a 9 to 5. When I reached back out to her in end of February, miserable. She's like, I took that as a sign. I need to do this. And now look what she's been able to accomplish in 5 months, what she couldn't do on her own for years. Learning all that shit. Because that's not sustainable. That's a band-aid. That's a quick fix. It's not a lot of effort to comment me. It's not a lot of effort. Does it have to make you uncomfortable to go leave your website? Which, what the hell are you gonna put on a website? Because you shouldn't be posting your packages and your pricing. You don't know what your offer is, and I know that because you guys tell me. You don't know what to charge. You don't even know who you're trying to target. You have no idea how to position yourself, but yet you're paying for a website when your business isn't making any revenue. And how are they going to find you? Because you're not an SEO expert. Instagram is free. LinkedIn is free. Facebook's free. Where's your ideal target audience at? I don't know. But yet you're wasting, and I'm saying that because I did that as a virtual assistant. My website never got me clients. Marketing and sales and positioning got me clients. It made me millions. So this is very, very important. All right. 100%. Yes, I love it. And so when you guys are going and winging it, right? Or if you're waking up and you're like, oh, I'm going to be a coach today. Cool. You can be a fitness coach. Even if you haven't helped someone else. If you've lost 200 pounds, can you do that for someone else? Yes. You know that because that's your zone of genius and you've accomplished that. But you don't know entrepreneurship. You don't know business structure. You haven't been in the online space for nearly a decade, right? And when you get on sales calls, you're letting them treat it like an interview. They're interviewing you. You told me you wanted freedom. You told me you wanted control. But you're not willing to take the effort and get out of your comfort zone to go learn that, to go elevate. Because you keep telling yourself this lie that more time, more resumes, more skill sets, more months, right? I did 18 months and I couldn't do it anymore. So when it comes to your sales calls, you should not be saying, oh, right? You should lead the conversation. Lead the conversation. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right. And I know I kind of forgot to switch the slide, so I apologize. Weak positioning equals weak sales. So if you're positioning yourself as a task taker, and I see this all the time, right? Your profile, and I'll walk you through. I'll walk you through it. We'll do that for like hot seat coaching. But your positioning is weak. Your sales, right? Your sales are going to be weak then. You're not getting leads coming to you because your content's not resonating with them. You're not getting followers. You are having to work harder and not smarter. You're having to physically do outreach, but you don't even know what to say when you go and do outreach. So you just keep spinning your wheels and throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something will change or you'll get lucky. That's not control. That's not sustainable. If you get a client and you don't know how to repeat that because it was a referral or they just happen to choose you out of 60 other people that commented on the Facebook post. So what I do and what this is teaching you is how to be a big fish in a small pond. So you're standing out and not standing out in ideal or not standing out in Facebook groups because that's not your ideal target audience, right? So you need to be a doctor and diagnose the problem and you need to act like it. But if you're not confident in your offer, if you're not confident in your framework or sales strategy, because you're like, well, I don't know, I don't have $140 million sales framework. Well, that's where the lack of confidence is coming from, right? There's not a magic pill that you can swallow, but there are things that you can do to learn that is going to boost your confidence even before you get a client. You don't need a shitty little $200 monthly client to boost your confidence. So I know this is like the main question, how to get clients, all right? This is what you are missing. You are missing exactly. Sorry, I'm trying to read the message here I got another email. Okay, yeah, and it's basically this too. So You don't need more leads. All right. Because you don't have a lead problem. Think about this, guys. You only need 2 to 3 people to say yes. So even if you are like, I don't know if I can charge 3K, even if you're charging like Sam, her second client, she got $1,200. She can go and upsell them, right? So $1,200. Let's just say even 1,000. Boom, that's 3K. If you're charging 3K and you got 2 clients, boom, that's 6K. Think about this. If you are going and applying to job ops, right? And you are in, you need like, let's just say 6K, and let's just average it out. $500 per client, 12 clients. And not only that too, but your trading time for money, which you should never work more than 30 hours in client work in your business, right? But we're not clocking time. Holy cow. That is 360 hours. Guess what? I have a client, a different Sam, I know. Apparently, my clients that are named Sam just do amazing. She's making 10K a month as a financial operations. Guess what? When she came into my program, she was just a bookkeeper. Had clients between like 2 to like $500. She had a lot of small clients making $2,000. In 6 months, we got her up to 10K. And she still works her full-time job, which it's flexible. She works about 30 hours a week at her full-time job. So she double dips. But guess what? When she works 30 hours a week at her 9 to 5, she works that maybe a little bit more, maybe more like 30 to 40 a month. So 10 hours a week, making 10K because we repositioned it once we looked at her skill sets and we optimized and productized her offer. Yeah. Why are you trading time for money? It doesn't make any sense. That's how you're going to get capped. That's why it's so hard for you to leave your 9 to 5. You've got way too many clients, you're undervalued, you're underpaid, and that's why it feels like like let's think about it logically, right? 40 hours a week at your 9 to 5, you have to work 20 hours a week, right? Like you can in addition to that. So 60 hours a week. You're trading time for money. And let's just say that, right? Maybe you are doing maybe you're charging like $30 an hour, right? That's $2,400. You have to make 5,000. Now you're capped out on time. You're only halfway to what you need to replace to walk out of your 9 to 5. And because you don't have a repeatable system, you don't know how to bring in premium clients or even more clients. So now you're capped. You're stuck. And that's what gets people burned out. Who wants to work 60 hours a week? And you're not even halfway to your income goal. I see it all the time. So what I want to go and walk you through, guys, really quickly here. Yeah, not me. Exactly. Oh my gosh. So I want to walk you guys through the parts of my Instagram. And actually too, if anyone wants me to go audit their Instagram, I will go and do that as well too. But I want to share something with you guys before we go into that. And drop your handle below if you guys want me to go audit. I think I only have time to do one because I do have another call here at 11:30. But I want to give you guys my skill set to offer worksheet. It's free, but if you need help and just breaking it down and looking into it, right? And it's like a whole, I think like 2, 3 page worksheet that is going to help you break down your skill set and your offer so you can start to think like that higher level CEO that you are. So I want you guys to comment hell yes, right? Below. If you, or heck yes, amen, whatever you want. If you guys will promise me they're done charging hourly. I don't even care if it's hourly based on 20-hour package or a 10-hour month, which is so freaking low. All right. Premium retainer, results driven, no longer train time for money. Give me a hell yeah, give me an amen below. And if you do it, I will drop my skill set worksheet here below for you guys. But I want to see it. Oh, this is why. I don't want that. All right. Hell yeah, I love it. All right, I'm going to drop the freebie for you guys. It's going to force you to make a copy. All right, but stay tuned. He wants me to go audit their, um, he wants me to go audit their stuff. Not audit their stuff. Sorry. I got a phone call. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I always do that when I'm on calls. Right? ADHD. I lose my attention. And I'll go and do that for you guys. All right. So it'll force you to make a copy of it. Now, also, oops, that's like 2. I think I give you guys like 2. Whoopsies. Okay. Ah, sorry. I gave you guys like they're connected. All right, all right. So sorry, erase that because it's like all in one. All right, so the Google Doc, sorry guys, like all my links blended together. All right, so here's a link. Go make a copy of it and go write it down, guys, because even this alone is going to help boost your confidence so much. Now, when you're done with that, if you're like, Jade, oh my gosh, I don't even know. There's so much. I've never done this. I need your expert eyes. Help me. How do I package this? What do I charge for this? And don't worry, everyone gets stuck with that. I want you guys to go book a call. Or if you're like, you know what, Jade, I am ready. I am done for making excuses. I am done going and applying to job ops. I am done wishing and hoping and praying. If you guys are actually ready, and here's the thing, right? What the only thing you're gonna have to give up of your old life and the way that you're living right now, you're gonna be doing that for your new life, right? So quit being underpaid, quit being undervalued. The time is now. Because right now, if you keep doing what you're doing, if you're positioning yourself as entry level, as virtual assistant, if we're not leveraging your skill set, the transformations you've maybe already gotten your clients, if you're not utilizing AI, you already are replaceable. Even Adley, right? Alex Hermosi told me that last year. He's like, you have to go in AI because he's like virtual assistants. Otherwise, well, not him, his team, sorry. So when I say him, it's someone on his team. But he did talk to us, but they're like, you're going to be irrelevant too. You guys will be irrelevant. Why? AI. I am in groups where there's 6, 7, 8 figure business owners. They're talking about that. They're talking about how time consuming it is. So everything that I'm teaching you, even in my skill set library, is to position you at that higher level. That way you're not replaceable. I make you irreplaceable because you are driving in a revenue. So I tell you what is a good what data to track, how to track it, what's a good click rate, a good open rate for email marketing, what to look for on your Instagram with your content, with your marketing, because VAs don't do that. They complete tasks. They don't do that. And that's why they get rid of them because it's not paying for like and you guys aren't even virtual assistants, right? I didn't want you guys to think of virtual assistants. Basically, we are as an online service provider, right? That's super broad. I'm a coach. But what is my niche? VA coach. What is your niche? Maybe it's be COO or CMO. All right. So I'm gonna go open up my Instagram really quick. And guys, tell me your biggest takeaways. All right. I want you guys to share with me your biggest takeaways, what you're going to be going and implementing today, what you learned, all the things. And then we'll go do our hot seat coaching. All right. Okay. Ready? All right, guys. Sorry. I had to respond to someone was trying to get in. All right. So look at this, right? A lot of you guys don't have a profile picture. If we go to, and I love doing this with even my clients, look at it. Professional headshot, right? You guys, and right, do not have your logo. Do not, do not, right? That's a personal account, but business, right? It comes across as spammy. We have an online business. We need to see your face. We need to know that you're a real human and not some weird dude from Puerto Rico, right? That is like trying to be our sugar daddy or some shit. Okay. We ain't about that. We're not doing that. That's why also too, sending voice notes, that helps your positioning. That actually positions you guys as authority because you're not afraid. How many of you guys are afraid to send a voice note? How many of you guys are afraid to send your show your face? You got to get through it. You got to, right? Because there's pros and cons to everything. Be an employee, be underpaid, be undervalued, right? But but that's a con, right? To the other positioning of what everyone else teaches, or right, you could be an entrepreneur. But what are the cons of that? Getting out of your comfort zone, showing up, showing your face, yada yada yada. So choose your hard. Do you want to wake up 30 years from now and be like, wow, I just worked the same job and, waited for a 25-cent raise every 4 years? That's the average. Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to go and give this all you got and be like, I grabbed life by the balls and I did it? Because I live in Iowa. Did you guys know that in Iowa, I'm in the top 2% for income. And I'm not saying that to be like a brag or anything. I literally grew up in a town of 50 people. Beaver, Iowa. It sounds like a hick, right? Sound like I'm from the boondocks, all right? Women that make six figures in this state, well, actually, anyone that makes six figures are in the top 2% earners. And that's not just like 100, right? Like I make more than that, more than 100K a year, right? Just shy of a million. So guess what? It's this sustainable. Think of long term. Don't think of a quick band aid fix. Don't think about, oh, it's just so easy to go drop my website or my portfolio. Because guess what? If you lose your job, right? No one can take your skill away, just like no one can take away my degree, which I mean, apparently doesn't mean shit, anyways, right? But no one can take away my knowledge of sales. I can go and sell anything with the framework that I have. So even if I wanted to shut this business down, marketing and sales, that's all you need for entrepreneurship. I know how to go do that. I've done it. Had a consulting agency. All right. My husband helped him with his landscaping business and going and doing that full time before we retired him. Right. So, and don't look at like my structure. It's a little bit different because again, right. This is why I don't go copy people because you don't know why they have it. You don't know if it works or anything, right? So if you're going and consuming all the content, like the woman I talked to last night on our sales call, that's her game plan. Well, I don't even have a business plan. Well, how are you going to create a business plan when you never started a business? You don't know anything about a business. Oh, that's a good point. I don't know. ChatGPT? Well, ChatGPT has never launched a business either. It's never made millions. Like, how are they going to help you? Right? So I'm going to go look, I think who was first here? Okay, Bethany. I think you were first. Thanks for being my little guinea pig. But I just wanted to show you like the headshot and being professional. Um, okay, coaches. That's super broad. That's me. That's you. That is holistic health coaches, fitness. That's probably like 70% of people in the online space. That's way too broad. So when I read that, that doesn't speak to me. Client support and operations. That's not a transformation. So helping business. Okay, think about this, right? And again, I'm not. I feel I'm gonna give you like an Amazon gift card or something because you're letting me like go and do this, and this is like really really brave, Bethany. So when it comes to like right, this is a descriptive word. Think about it. And who are the entrepreneurs or coaches that aren't busy? The ones that don't have any clients. Well, they don't have any clients because they're not ideal. They're not gonna be ideal. Well, that's not why they don't have any clients, right? But that makes them not ideal, right? So busy coaches like me, 6, 7, 8 figure business owners established. Hi, Alyssa, we're just wrapping up a training here. That's what, right? Like this doesn't speak to me. That's not a transformation, organized and booked. And then we're just going and listing out a bunch of different tasks that you're doing. CRM, follow-ups, inbox. That's like more of a task taker, trading time. So right here, this is your business card, you guys. So your business card needs to have your I help statement. It doesn't need to say I help. It could be like scaling businesses, right? Or whatever. But this is a descriptive word. And it's describing like an adjective, but we want more of like a noun or pronoun, right? So specifically, what kind of coaches? And then what is the problem that they have? And you probably don't know what the problem that they have because you're trying to attract all coaches. So the problems that I would have in my like in a VA coach business would be different than a fitness coach or a mindset coach or a Reiki coach or a spiritual coach or a health practitioner coach or anything like that, right? So because it's so broad, and that's why too, you're following way more people than people that are following you. And then let me go look at your content as well. And then highlight, same thing. Right there, you saying new biz, it doesn't matter if you have a new business. Why? Switch that mindset. You're not new. You have 10 years of operations experience, right? Or whatever that looks like. So you need to have your I help statement. That can be the first 1 or 2 lines. Then it needs to be your authority statement. So I think mine's like over 1,000 people. Oh, so let me use my business as an example. So my business right? If I want to be really general, I'd be like, oh, I help VAs land clients. That's not going to speak to you guys. You guys would have signed up for this. You're like, I can go get a client. I already got a bunch of shitty little clients, right? That's not what my ideal target audience wants, right? Maybe like some of the other VA coaches where it's like, oh, you want a side hustle or you want to make an extra $1,000, cool. But my ideal woman is who I am, who I was when I was stuck at my 9 to 5. People that are going to set the excuses aside. They're highly motivated. They don't make freaking excuses. They learn, they implement, they show up, they ask questions, right? So if I think about that, what does my target want? They want what I want. They want income that they can actually count on. Not like Rachel, who I got on a call with 2 months ago, sales call. Husband's part of the decision making process. She canceled it. Why? She was laid off 2 times in 2 years. She told her husband she wanted to like start her VA business. Not sustainable. But you getting laid off 2 times in 2 years, you're not making enough at your third 9 to 5 in 2 years. And your boss is mean to you because you have your 3-year-old at home with you because you're not making enough money and you can't afford daycare and you're afraid you're going to get fired because she's making a lot of mean comments about your 3-year-old daughter being there while you're working. Okay. That doesn't make any sense to me, but right? But that's his belief. So you want people that are going to have beliefs like you, right? That I can do this, that you are the expert, but you have to believe it first. All right. So, my biggest feedback for you, Bethany, is really number one, and this is what you guys need to figure out. Okay. And let me actually go find really quick. Can you guys see this on my screen? Let me know if you can see it. Abby, can you see it? Does that make sense, Bethany, too? Is number one, you need to figure out your ideal target audience. All right. Number two, and this is everything we already covered, but number two, you need to do your market research. So if you don't know the overall goal, right? If you have not talked to, or you have an AI prompt like I do that just pulls from, because you need to pull like a large sample. Think about this, the larger your sample size, and this goes back to statistics, and I suck at math, right? But the larger your pool, that they do that too for like, what is it, the Gallup or whatever, like voting elections, they do the exact same thing, right? We don't want to attract the outliers, the little dots over here. It's the bigger picture. So what is their overall goal? Okay. And now you've broken out your skills and you know what your offer is. So how does your offer, how is that the solution to their problem? Right? How are you going to position yourself? Because it's probably not virtual assistant, right? You're not just support, admin, general, the woman I talked to last night, general VA. No one's going to hire you, right? And if they do, you're going to be miserable. I bet you $1,000,000. Low paying, needy, taking up way more time. All right. Positioning. And then it's marketing. Well, marketing and sales, right? You got to have your positioning. This is the order. And all of that, when you go and do that, that's how you have consistent clients. That's how you're like, okay, I've been making 60K for the last 2 years. That was me. We can like that's pretty sustainable. We can retire my husband, which is what we did when our daughter was born. I was able to plan out building a house and having our daughter born and retire my husband. He was a general contractor and I ran my business. And a lot of you guys are like, I don't have the time. You're making excuses. I can't, not suggesting it. I felt good. I came back to work a week after I had my daughter. I could not. I was depressed with both my sons. Why? Why is that? Because I knew, right, I was going to have to leave them. I didn't have that with my daughter because I had freedom. I have been completely in control. I know exactly what needs to happen, exactly what to do, what to say, what to post to get people to move. This is all organic, guys. What I'm teaching you, it doesn't require ads. That's more money. Everything I teach you is basically for my adult client. Now, you don't have to be a mom, right? I attract moms naturally, but you have a lot on your plate. You probably work full time. You've got a life. You've probably got a family. You've got kids. I'm talking to a lot of women that are taking care of their elderly parents, and they are literally chained to their 9 to 5. And it pisses me off. Not to get all like woo woo and like old school, but like simpler times, being in charge. Everything I teach is utilizing things that are free, right? Like the platforms I like suggest that you guys use, it's free and it's simplistic. And my clients that get amazing results, they are only implementing this about an hour, around an hour a day. That's like 7 to 10 hours a week that they're going and doing this, and they're getting amazing results. Yet you're spending hours and hours and hours a day going and applying for resumes and getting burned out and feeling like this is never going to work for you. It can. You just can't see the bigger picture because you've never done it before. That was me. I was you. So, guys, the time is now because things have shifted. And if you guys don't make a change now, you are never going to get to your goals. You're going to be left in the dust. And the people up here are going to be the ones that know how to do this. The VA coaches that are selling their courses, teaching you to cold DM and just go network and post on your Facebook and announce and launch. I didn't do a freaking launch. I went out and had conversations with my ideal target audience. I didn't build an email list. I didn't do any of that bullshit that they're trying to get you to do because they want you to stay stuck. So you keep paying and paying and paying. You're just paying their monthly bills and you stay stuck at a 9 to 5, working 20 hours for someone else that literally treats you like an employee. When you told me in the DMs that that's the reason that you want to start your business because you hate your boss, you hate your job, and you know that you're meant for more. So, are you guys fired up? Are you guys freaking ready? I want this to be your pivotal moment. I don't want your pivotal moment to be like me calling my mom, bawling, and saying that I'm feeling my kids because I was paying for groceries on a debit card. And I was going and donating plasma and cleaning out construction sites. All right, with construction workers, and I kid you not, their bottles of piss. Because that's what I did while I was building my VA business, while I was trying to figure it out on my own, trying to make ends meet. Because I was too stubborn to say, hey, I need help. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want that to be you guys. So let this be your pivotal moment. Go make a change. Go fill out that worksheet. Book a call with me, whatever it is that you need to do to get your mindset right and quit thinking the way that we've been ingrained that the 9 to 5 is the only way and that's the only way to stay secure. Because guess what? Your boss can fire you tomorrow and they can hire someone else. They don't care. You are replaceable. But I want to show you how to be irreplaceable, be in control of your income, your day to day, and be at home with your family and have your life be the way that you have wanted it to be. All right?